Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to House of Common. I'm Emily Rouge. To my left,
Maya Siobhan.
And you'll see.
LD Demola, House of Commons.
House of Commons.
Okay.
Gently.
Yeah, slide it from the
Now,
What's the glass?
What's today's topic?
well, today's topic is definitely an interesting one. Some of you females might not want to hear this, but it is a reality of life. Insecurities in relationship, and the focus is mainly, I guess it could go both ways, because there are some guys that are insecure as well. So insecurities in relationship, what do you guys think?
I don't know where to start. It's such a big topic, but I think just to start, this generation with all the technology and everything that's going on and social media and that's just, I think, what may be aiding or making people more insecure these days is the level of access that we have. Before, when I was growing up, the only way you could talk to anybody outside of talking to them in person was talking to them on the phone, and then you would have to have a number, and it was just a little different. We already know it's a different era, different time period. Now they got apps, you can text everything. So I think now there's a lot more to be concerned about. You see people, and I think for me is when you know that it's a generation where we're almost encouraging and we're talking a lot about side dudes, side chicks and stuff like that. It's like a commonplace now. It's like in our lingo. So I think that this generation especially, I'm not saying people didn't have insecurities before in relationships. People definitely have feelings of insecurity. But I think now with imagery being pumped in us every day about how things are supposed to look, how a relationship is supposed to look. Because I remember seeing people portraying one thing about their relationship on Facebook, then you meet them in person, and it's a different discussion. They're arguing every 5 seconds. Not that that's uncommon in relationships, but then it's this sort of like the insecurities come from the imagery as far as the portrayal of what the relationship is, and the insecurities also come from each other when somebody feels like they may not be measuring up, or there's something that they feel they may be lacking. And so then you're already sensitive to that, and in the generation where people have access to different things, it's hard.
I think I agree pretty much with what Amy said, but I think insecurities in relationships has a lot to do with the person, and I think people take ownership of people. And when you take ownership, like you buy a car, that's your car, you own it. So of course you want to know how it runs and all those different things, but when you take ownership of a person, if it be male or female, then you want to know every move that person makes, what they're doing, why are they doing it, who are they with. So I think when people take ownership, then that's where those insecurity things happen. And then at the same time, I feel like when you're lacking as a person in a relationship, it's like you kind of spew your lack on that person. I have friends that are in relationships with people and they're not the same person, because once they got with this guy, it's like, oh well, he doesn't want me to wear that anymore. And I know to a degree there's certain things that you should not do from being in a relationship to being single and like that, but I think it's when a person starts to change, oh well, I can't wear makeup anymore because now mind you, he got me with makeup on looking nice, but now it's like no, someone's gonna take what I think I own. So I think those things happen. Now on the female side, similar, I think women take possession and it's like, no, that's mine. And because of Instagram and all those different things nowadays, it's readily available for him to see it. So, and you see it as well. So you feel like you're lacking physically, or, so you have to dictate what he does on his phone, or when he's sleeping, you're like, oh, wait a minute, let me check his phone. So I think that's when those insecurity things start to come out, when you feel like you own a person instead of just inhabiting with that individual. Like, you're a human, I'm a human, we love each other. There's other people in the world, but I don't own you as a person. So I think that's when, like you said, insecurities can go broad, but I'll just say that to start, like it's taking ownership of a person and what you lack. So if you lack money and you you want to do things with her, and she could possibly do things with her ex that she did before. Then you kind of, you make it seem like, oh, we don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I think that's a part of it.
You want to go?
Okay, so I think there is definitely an extreme deeper issue to what causes insecurities in relationships. It's not always the case that someone might have been hurt in the past. Of course, we've all been through journeys where someone might have hurt our feelings. But I always say that it's very important for people to heal from the past before jumping into the next relationship. And that's not just to say that the hurt is always from a previous relationship. The hurt can also be from lack of love from your childhood, or lack of a parent love, or just lack of self-love, which is so important to me. I feel that when people don't love themselves enough, they feel like they have to do so much for someone to feel for someone to accept them, and it shouldn't be that way. When you're in a relationship, it should be a 50-50 ground. The love that you give, you should receive that same love. And it becomes a problem. I would say mainly for my females, because a lot of women tend to do this. To me, it becomes a problem when you feel like you have to subject yourself to a man because you are so insecure about your physical, about your emotional aspect of life, about where you are in life, about, just your overall existence as a being. Then it becomes a deeper issue, because this man knows, and men know. When they know, they will take extreme advantage of that. They know that you are not going anywhere.
Right.
You have been wrapped around your finger. There is nothing that they're going to do, and you will say, okay, I am done. You will complain about it, but then you will never leave. So to me, there are so many deeper issues as to why that creates problems into relationship. And the sad part of it is that most women will subject themselves to it and continue to be in the relationship until the man probably will end up with someone else. Because at the end of the day, honestly, no human being wants to be with someone that doesn't like themselves. No human being does. They will take advantage of it of that moment if they're in a bad situation. Let's say, for example, a guy that doesn't have his own place, doesn't have a job, and don't have much going on in his life, and you're a woman who's insecure about yourself. A guy is going to prey on that. He will stay at your place, eat your food, sleep with other women in your place while you're at work, and you will know those things, but then you will still say, okay, sweetie, okay, baby, it's okay. And then your girlfriends and people try to let you know, but then they become the bad person, and this goes back to you not appreciating the individual that you are. And I'll let LD speak, but it's definitely a broad topic, and there's a lot of things that plays into it as to what creates the insecurities, but what do you think?
I think the United States of America. In Western culture, relationships get too much attention.
Yeah.
Just being honest. I think the emphasis on relationships and how they're supposed to be structured and things of that sort, they just get there are too many different versions of it, which makes it a lot more complex to even, are we seeing each other or are we talking? Are we talking or are we dating? Are we dating or are we together? Are we together or are we just like, you're one person, you're another person, are you guys, whatever you are, it's you, and that should be the end of it. It's funny because my uncle just came back from Nigeria, and he was just telling me how he looks at America as, he hasn't been here in a long time, and he's like, America has changed, and I don't know if it's for the better, because everything has too much of a definition, right? But I say that to say, insecurities in relationships, one thing I learned about myself, or at least relationships in the Western world, too often we try to make somebody else responsible for what we should be individually, right? Too many people don't find themselves before they get in relationships, so it becomes a problem. And when that happens, usually one person starts straying away from what they should be, and that becomes a problem, right? So it's if I'm in a relationship with you, right, and you like music, I don't necessarily like music, but I like doing something else, and I keep forcing you to stop liking music, right? Whether it's out of insecurity, whatever it is, and you accept it,
well then,
no matter what happens, you're never going to be happy in that relationship ever, right? So quite often, I see that happening a lot. I remember one of my early relationships, I was 19, she was 19.
You didn't know anything about
Of
relationships.
course, I didn't know anything, but
I'm
that's
just
when you
saying,
start. That's when you start finding yourself for your own identity. You're like, why are you telling me to do this way? This is how I want to do it.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But there are different tiers. I think another thing is the word insecure, is so liquid now. Like everybody uses it.
Yeah, like in
So
everything.
juicily,
Yeah.
like whatever.
Juicily.
Like, if I'm a man and I have a girlfriend or a wife, there should be a little bit of insecurity there. Because this is what I'll say, right?
Ooh, okay.
I want to hear this.
It is powerful if she knows her value. And that little insecurity is what keeps me in
Can I
check.
just add something in there real quick for what you're saying?
Yeah.
In every relationship, at least from the women that I've talked to, it's always important for the man to know that I can leave at any point. That I have value.
I get what you're saying.
There's
Right.
value
Exactly.
in me.
Yeah.
So if you do anything, I'm not gonna leave you. If we have kids, I'm not gonna leave you. But you must feel that I can leave you.
Yeah.
And both sides gotta have that kind of feeling to
Feeling.
it.
This
Right.
is to kind of make that sound a little bit more positive, right?
Yeah.
It's not that I can
No, you get what I'm trying
I
to say.
totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not I can leave any time, but this is why I'm valuable to keep. Right? You know, because and it's important for me as a man to have a little bit of like, if she wakes up in the morning and she looks freaking bananas and I know her walking down the street is a bunch of catcalling, I'm gonna keep myself in check. It's important, and a lot of people wanna act like you shouldn't do that because it's insecure. Nah, yo. If that's my lady, and I'm like, I'm not gonna control what she's wearing or whatever it is, but I'm gonna make sure I know I got this, right? And there are certain things like I will have to do as a man to keep her.
That's it.
And it's that little hint of insecurity. But when when you cross that line of telling her what to do, and that's no longer insecurity. That's just like, that's dangerous.
I think too, like when you get with somebody, right? Like there's certain things about that person that made you tick. Like wow, you know, and you want the people that they're attached. You almost want their past to not be. You know what I mean? It's like I always say, I don't ask questions that I don't want to know the answer to. Now I can have the mystery in the back of my head the whole time, but the second I ask the question, if I don't want to know the answer to it, why ask it? But that little monster's still like, you should probably think of it, you know. But I think also too, like like I said, when you get with someone and that ex comes up, or you go out somewhere and it's like, oh, that's such and so, and the person you're with is a different person. In the back of your mind, you're like, what? You know, she never did that before. You know what I mean? Or let's say if someone calls like a nickname, because you know exes like to do things like that to kind of check your situation. It's like, hey, what's up, da da da, and then the person you're with is like, who is that? Oh, that's the name he used to call me. So that
Can I say
a
something?
car conversation.
Okay.
But I'm just
You
saying
know,
that.
and then I'll say something.
And this is gonna sound egotistical. I always say that, misogynist, whatever. But I think that's why it's important to know your value, right? So, for example, and it's important to know your value and stand by what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Because if you're constantly chasing being better than anything she's possibly looking at, you're wasting your time.
You're chasing your tail.
There's no point for me to be in a relationship with somebody I'm having to keep chasing like, mommy, you're wasting my time, I'm wasting my time. Let's just cut it.
This is not even.
This is what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
I constantly challenge myself to be better than myself.
Yeah.
You constantly push me to be a better version of myself. And there's 7 billion people on Earth. It's really not that serious. So if I'm gonna keep chasing
It's true.
7 billion people, I might as well just kill myself.
Right.
And the same goes for a woman. You know. So, and again, another thing that I've realized is, maybe it's just because I'm living here, or it's the West, or whatever it is. Relationships have become so immature. Like, we talking about going through my phone when I'm sleeping. Like, mommy, come on,
Well, yeah, okay.
It was pagers before that.
Yeah, but like,
And then before that, it was whose number's in your pocket. You know what I mean? So there's always been
I would
that
get numbers,
element.
Mom. Like,
but it's always been that element.
you're gonna get numbers too.
Or your
It's what you
friend
do.
has your friend has the phone, because everybody didn't have, and it's
Or
like
Pizza Hut.
oh girl, auntie,
You know what I'm
Pizza
saying?
Hut.
Auntie's library card.
work
You know what I mean?
Or wait a minute, you check caller ID.
Yeah.
Like I had an ex when I would I would get in the shower like I would come and he would say, who is such and so? I'm like, that's my uncle. Like, really, that's my uncle. But he's like, why did he call you so many times? I'm like, because I was working in my uncle's storage.
Why did he call?
place.
Wasn't saying, "Hey girl, what you doing?"
No, he knew the time. It was like he called it 9:15, 9:20, and I'm like, because I worked with my uncle. It said Johnson, da da da. You know what I mean? But I'm like, why are you checking it? Not just checking the caller ID, but wait until I'm out of the room. If you do it around me, then I think that takes the blow away a little bit, takes the mystery out of it. But why wait till the person is asleep or in the shower or like that's.
I think that actually is much more of a deeper lack of trust for the individual that you're with. I believe in privacy, and I strongly practice that in my relationship. I don't believe in checking my man's phone, and I would never expect him to do that. But if you're getting to that point where you feel like you have to sneak behind the individual and
so many people do it.
See, some people do it to see who is texting, who is calling. That's a lot of energy and time that you're wasting. I could be investing that time and energy in something else. So I personally choose not to do that. I strongly believe in this. People are going to do whatever they want to do if they want to do it. So you can snitch and look and do whatever you want to do. Follow him or follow her. Or I mean, at the end of the day, if they want to do it, they're going to do it. If they want to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you. So to me, that also leads to insecurity, of course, when there isn't any trust. And why is it that there isn't trust? Maybe that person has cheated on you before and you've accepted it. Or maybe they've done it 1 or 2 times and you've continued to accepting it. And then if you continue to accept these things, that means that you need to check yourself and ask yourself the question, why am I, subjecting myself to such, Why is it that I feel like I need to deal with such? It goes back to, if you value yourself, you know what you're bringing to the table, and you feel that, you don't have to put up with such, you won't put up with such.
I think if you're honest with yourself on who you are, you won't have these issues. When I give a personal anecdote. When I had a girlfriend that I was dating, and I started to change the whole trajectory of my life slowly, without realizing that all of a sudden I'm trying to do a whole nother thing, and I'm like, this is not me. And it just didn't work. After a while, certain things started clashing. I started feeling some type of way about certain things because I wasn't being honest with myself about who I was, and she wasn't being honest with herself about what she really wanted. So 2 people being dishonest with themselves, trying to make something work that is not supposed to work. So then you're going to run into these little issues because you're obviously looking for something else, and I definitely need something else. We both need different things, and we're not meeting each other's needs right because I'm not what you want or need.
Right.
But I'm with you anyways, and I'm trying to measure up to what I'm never going to measure up to because that's not what you're looking for.
Can I use a word that the United States of America or the West uses so liquidly? Love. A lot of things that don't go right, a lot of forced issues, the reason why we keep forcing it is because love is supposed to...
So I'm curious. When you say in the United States of America, what's the difference? Is love different in Uruguay or something?
The way it is presented, right? Here's one thing I'm going to say about love in other places. Okay. Natural selection still applies.
Natural selection. Okay.
So if I
understand.
In college, and she's not in college, no matter what love you want to agree, it's not going to walk.
It's not going to happen,
Which
love are we talking about?
We're that shallow, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
she's educated, I'm educated. It's most likely
none of
So
us
it's
in
like
class.
likes and likes.
Period.
Class matter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in
It's
you
true.
know, they say, oh, love is blind. Yeah, love is blind, but natural selection always comes back to the surface. There's something that you mentioned a couple weeks ago that we never really discussed. You know, and I call it the shallow, but you said basically knowing who you're with, like the match, a 10 and a 5.
Yeah.
If the girl's a 10 and I'm a 5, I got long money. It's most likely the reality that's going to keep us sustained.
Yeah.
Facto. But what a lot of people want to think is, if she's a 10 and I'm a 5, love is going to keep us. That's fine, right?
It sounds good.
It sounds good, but it's not what happens. And that's what insecurity starts sliding in.
To women that are sitting right next to us.
Sure. Oh God.
I hear women a lot of times, because I agree with what he's saying, but this is just another side to it. I hear a lot of women sometimes saying, well, I love him. Yeah, the money is there, but it's not about the looks.
Mama, come on.
It's not about the looks. I've heard that many times.
It's not about the looks.
It's not. I mean, you know what?
So please elaborate what that means. On what that means. What is it's not about the looks mean? We can still go back to the topic, but I just want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, because that kind of ties with, because looks is an insecure piece,
It
you know,
is.
too.
No,
I think
that's
that's
deeper into
like
that,
number one, actually. I think what happens is, as you mature, you know, in age, or just experience more than anything, because it's not really about age, because experience is the best teacher. So as you mature in, you know, what you want and who you want and stuff like that, like certain things start to taper off.
Right.
So it's like, if he's tall, if he's short, if he looks this way, if he looks that way. Like, you meet someone that makes you laugh, and maybe the old you was like, wow, like, his face is kind of crooked. You know what I mean? But the new you was like, he really makes me laugh. You know, and the guy that was like fine and just doing everything. No, you'd be surprised what this girls, women talk about, right? But it's like, what happens is, you start to look at this person like, wow, like the way he makes me feel makes him just look a lot better than if I was looking under different eyes, right?
Okay.
And like I said, it has to be like a mature thing, you know, within yourself. Like, wow, it's all about what a man makes you feel like.
So it's not about resources.
I mean, well, I was just gonna give like that. It's about the way that he makes you feel, and if he makes you feel secure, because there's not a lot of things you have to worry about. If he makes you feel like, you know, you can go after anything, that's what I said. The way that he makes you feel, not about.
Would it depend on the kind of woman you are?
That's what I said. In maturity, like if I'm the kind of woman that looks as everything to me, then I may say, you know what, that matters.
Okay.
So him looking good and not treating me well is okay, because when we go out, we look good together, and I actually feel like, wow, I'm with the finest guy in the club or in the party or in whatever, or amongst my family. I think that doesn't go long, because looks fade. You know, that's something that my mother always said. Yeah, the woman that I was in the 70s, where is she? She's gone, right? It's like, because life happened. And the fact that this man knows how to handle the household, he knows how to raise these kids, that is sexy to me, because of where I am. Looks is the first thing that actually fades, because you get older, you change, things happen. So if someone says, okay, but when you're younger and your mind is kind of
Let me just add
low
something.
frequencies,
Sorry,
you
it's gonna be
know.
2 lines. It's gonna be 2 lines. Let's just make sure that, because I need to make sure this is stated. Let's not blueprint the person who looks good as somebody who treats you like shit, because we try to do that too often in this world. Right. Good-looking people
do not
good
do that.
Too.
True.
That's true. Like sometimes we want to.
It's true.
We want to crucify people for their looks. Give them a championship.
And ugly people treat you good.
Yeah.
But if you're facially challenged, that's what I say.
Oh my God.
Because I don't believe in ugly, because that's not fair. Because that's relative. But if you're facially challenged in some way, and you don't have a personality, you don't treat a person right, the chances of you having somebody, but a good-looking person will probably have someone longer, is you know, because of the way that they
Let's
look.
just go back to natural. We ain't got to sound big. It's natural selection. Just call it what it is.
To answer the question you were asking, just like Maya said, I think as women grow, I think actually women compromise more when it comes to looks.
We do.
Compared to guys.
We do.
That's why sometimes
Actually,
some guys end up with women that are just beautiful but have no brains. So, but I think
that was funny.
It doesn't last though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't last.
I'm sorry.
But definitely women do compromise more on looks as you get older, because what becomes more of a reality to you in terms of what you're looking for in a relationship changes over time.
It does.
And at the end of the day, like Maya said, looks do fade. And just because someone is, like you said, call it physical challenge, facially challenged, they can be physically as well.
True,
and you know, sometimes people look beyond that. It should be about how you're treated and what the person is bringing to the table. But of course, like LD was saying, natural selection does also play a role in terms of, yeah, he doesn't look great, but he has to have, you know, financial-wise stability and all of that other stuff. Now, of course, I don't think, personally, most women will go for a man that doesn't look, you know, physically that great.
Because that means something. That's a whole thing.
And then finances are not in, like, he doesn't have a job or things are not going so great in his life. I personally wouldn't be with someone like that. To me, it's like, what are you bringing? Like, what is the motivational aspect to your life? Where's the ambition part?
Can I ask you? Okay, so let me ask another question. So let's do a more regular situation. This is an everyday situation.
Okay.
So I'm with a young lady. I consider myself to be decent looking. So if I'm a decent looking guy, and I'm with a young lady who's attractive. I have eyes. I know what is ugly. I know what is good looking. If I see another very good-looking guy that walks inside the room, I know she sees this guy and she's looking at him. I know her type. I know what she likes.
Yeah.
He walks into the room.
Yeah.
Isn't it not normal for me to feel away, or is it?
It's
it's
natural
to
it
feel,
is, and I think that's the insecurity
it's
part.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't call that insecurity.
It totally is.
I wouldn't call that.
It's the
there are levels to insecurity. You're right, but I wouldn't call it insecurity. I will call it, appreciating what you have. Of course, you like the person you love the person you consider them good looking, and you know that even though you consider yourself great looking and you feel confident about yourself, but of course there are other people that they're gonna look at, that they're gonna like.
Yeah.
So just because you might say something about it doesn't mean that you don't have that confidence within yourself that they're not going anywhere.
Okay, so I want to give a real life situation sort of to that. So my best friend goes to a party and she's very good looking, and the guy she's with, she goes by herself. And she's standing in the middle of the room, and this couple walks past, and the guy kind of does a head back.
Guys always look.
So I was like, oh, whatever. So they walk away. We're at the bar, and the model, she's a model, because it was that kind of party. She comes up to my best friend and says, if I catch you in my husband's house, in my house with my husband, I'm going to kill you.
Okay, that is.
But let me tell you, the thing that got me was the fact that we don't even know the guy. Like, we're just in the party, and the fact that she could pick out what he likes, and mind you, they didn't talk. Like, they knew the same people, kind of like in industry, But it was so amazing that the guy actually ended up talking to her at another party. And when we were there, I said, "That's the girl that's." But that wasn't even her husband. But the fact that she could pick out what he liked. So I told him, I said, your wife said that she was going to kill her. And he was like, I'm not married. And we were like, the model you were with the last time. But it was that really.
Let me just.
America,
go. Go to that. But one thing that is, another seed to it is roles, biological roles, biological behaviors. Right? And somebody asked me this before. She said, if you're dating somebody and you're done dating her, is she still yours? Now,
yes.
Now the very great answer is no. She can do whatever she wants. Ma, let me look in the camera and let you know this facto, right?
Really?
If we're in a relationship, we date, we marry, whatever, I'm not trying to see you go to somebody better after me. Facto. And it is not just men, it's women. It is when you give something to someone, you give your energy to someone, right? Biologically, as a man, my lady, my canvas, right? Mentally, that is my territory, right? So there's a reason why there's bro code. No matter if it's 10 or 20 years later, a girl I date better not date you. She just broke. You accepting her as your date, you just failed yourself and me. And if I date a girl that you dated, no matter if it's just two of us left on earth, I've failed, right? It's a fact.
I mean, women do too. We have the same.
It's a code, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's roles and actual behaviors. It's a real thing that we want to sugarcoat and say no, but it's a real emotion. If a girl dates a guy, Adele has a song, right? I heard that you settled down and you found a girl and you're married now. Yo, no matter how great and politically correct she wants to be, it hurts. If you gave somebody your energy and that transfers, right? Some call it insecurity, but it's real.
When I'm done,
it's real.
I don't think
Of course, when we're done, we're done.
Yeah,
But it's still.
Okay,
I want to say something.
Let me just say something real quick.
Go ahead.
You said that when I've dated somebody, now the way I look at my past relationships, I look at them like this. Like my last, I could just see my last two, for example. The last one. Was a lesson?
They're all lessons.
So I look at it, I don't look at it as...
Should be lessons.
Yes, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. In the beginning, when you see pictures on Instagram with other niggas, it's like, oh shit.
It's true. It's real.
It's like, this is some real ass shit. But then you remind yourself, I'm not with her for a reason. There's a reason I'm not with her. It's an ex for a reason.
That's right.
And yes, I have that territorial thing because I was in there, but then I'm not there no more. And that's what I was with. I was there. Matter of fact, depending on how close it was, I'm still in there.
Can I actually say something before you?
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay, go. And I'm gonna forget my thoughts.
So what I'm basically trying to say is, when I look at those past relationships, yeah, I have that territorial thing, but I look at it as, like you said, learning experience, and I wasn't even really supposed to be there to begin with. You know, so at least the last choice. Now, if I date someone from like now on, and I feel like it was a good relationship choice, it just didn't work out, then that may be different. But the last two, I knew that they were good, but it wasn't. I shouldn't have been there to begin with, so I knew that wasn't, and there's a reason why I'm not with them. So I'm kind of looking at my relationships from different perspectives.
It sounds cool, but when that baby pops out, right? I know everybody wants to sugarcoat it, but when that baby pops out with that other dude, and again, it depends on what the relationship was. If it's something that you were not supposed to be in, then it doesn't really kind of count.
It was supposed to be friends with benefits and cut off early on.
That's not a relationship.
No, but I'm saying we got, but it turned into a relationship that wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay,
yeah, but that doesn't really count. But somebody you give your juice.
You gave a juice.
I totally forgot.
If you remember while I talked,
Yeah,
it's okay.
go ahead.
What I was gonna say was to go back to what you said.
I'm gonna pick up from LD, yeah.
When you know your worth, you know, and that relationship is over, you know your worth. So it doesn't matter in a, well, let me say in my mind, or a real woman's mind, the next person will never be better than me. In my, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, it's like she may look that way or whatever, but when you know your worth and what you brought, who you are and how you're better and like you, in truth, you can say, wow, like congratulations, you know? So all of my exes in my past, like I know for me that I did what I had to do. You understand? So when it's done, it's done. It's severed. It's no more in that capacity. So when I see you again with someone, in truth, like let's just say that person has a great body or they're a good, whatever it is, or you're rolling up. I don't know. Like it doesn't. Things don't really equate to anything to me. But as long as you're happy, I like to tell a joke. Like, whoa, like you got you a, you know what I mean? To let you know, like it's cool. Now for that person, it may be a little different. It's like, oh, they try to size up. But once you're done, so once you're done, well, for a woman, I would say, some of us, once you're done, you should be done. But if you're still holding on, then you're gonna look at the person. You're gonna
this is what I'm gonna say. First of all, I think what happens is that people realize and forget why you are not with that individual anymore. Some people tend to forget the reason why. So there is a reason why they're an ex. And sometimes the mistake some people make is they go back to the ex. First of all, you forgot that you guys broke up for a reason. So why are you going back to this individual? So going back to this individual is just going to increase the insecurities. It's just going to increase the trust that you don't have for this individual because there were problems that led you guys to go your separate ways. Or maybe it wasn't even a relationship. One person assumed it was a relationship. And sometimes that's the other part. I'm sorry, ladies, but sometimes us as women, we're so quick to make something what it's not. And the guy is like, huh?
He should say most women.
Most women.
You say sometimes most women, or most times most women.
This one.
What's the point you're trying to make? But anyways, like I was saying, most of the times, a lot of women assume and, you know, make relationship what they're not. If you and a guy are just getting to know each other, don't assume right off the bat that, okay, now we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Even though you do everything like it. That's how that happens.
Right.
That's why you don't give him that until he makes
right. So don't give him what you're not supposed to give your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
Or your husband.
Exactly. So, I mean, and at the end of the day, he ends up saying, you know what? We weren't really that. You knew what we were doing. So now you end up in this emotional hurt feeling and start taking that out on the next guy that comes along. So all of that stuff creates insecurities. I'm sorry. It's just knowing. Just be clear of what's going on in the relationship. Have a clear understanding of who you're dealing with.
I don't think there's anything wrong, to be honest with you. You're going to have it in relationships. You're not going to run away from insecurities. I actually think that insecurities are a good thing sometimes.
Well, I think there is a difference between insecurity and feeling a little jealous
The reason why I think it's good.
Jealousy is like appreciating. I think.
Yeah. So I think it highlights to you as an individual, number one, certain things that it may be good for you as an individual for your personal expansion as an individual. It may sound a little off, but if I'm seeing something, for example, you talk about money, it sounds messed up. But the truth is, if I feel a way about the fact that I know this other person has the resources to do the things that I cannot do, and I feel insecure about that, I'm not saying that if that's what I want and that's what I'm trying to strive for, that's an honest feeling. Yeah, I feel insecure. It's not bad. It's just true. Maybe I'm going on that route to be that. That's one angle, one side to it. And then I also feel that this is another case of people not being honest. Once again, not loving themselves and being real with themselves on who they are. When I look on the relationships that I was with certain people, it was partially because of the fact that I didn't look at myself and say, man, I have this to offer. If I was aware of that, I wouldn't be talking to you like this. Even if we were talking to each other, my patience would be small because I'm like, dude, you know what I got to offer? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I got to offer? You know what I'm saying? You got to offer? So I think that's the thing. So when you know yourself and you know your worth, as Drake says or whatever, you're not subjected to certain things. You're not victim to certain things as much because you're like, okay, cool. This is what I am. This is what I have to offer. And this is what I'm. And then another thing too, you have your standard and your boundary on what you want and what you are not willing to deal with.
But how do you?
Can I say
Okay,
something?
go ahead.
And one main thing is know your standards, know your worth, and we'll know all of that.
Yeah.
And being real, which is what a lot of people don't do. Mm. Being realistic with who you can be with.
Wow.
Yeah. Factor.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And here goes the shallow part. It's just the truth.
It's true. I mean,
it's the truth. I'm just going to be real with you.
No discussion.
And when I say 10, I don't just mean looks.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, what
if I'm at a certain level, no matter what or how you try to reconstruct it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And it's either I will keep chasing away, or you will keep chasing towards, but it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where it happens a lot. It goes back to the biological wiring. When a man is not a provider in a relationship, insecurity is at level 1,000. Because your wiring says that's what you must be.
Yeah.
It's not something that you learn in school.
Right.
It's none of that. It is your wiring saying, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Look at you're saying wiring, and then you're going to be reminded about it every single day.
Yeah,
verbally.
And here's another thing, right?
Which wiring?
On the woman's side, right? This is the thing that I'm coming to like realize, right? The love thing again. A lot of people don't want to be honest about why they're in relationships. You know, so
situationships.
Thank you, because
the difference
these days I know we market love and religion and God. 75% of the time, it is survival that people are in relationships for.
It's a business exchange. It's a business exchange. It's a business exchange.
It's sad, but it is. But isn't it survival if I'm educated and she's educated? Isn't that also some sort of survival?
It's survival, but you can be educated and something happens and then you don't know how to deal with it.
This is what I was gonna say to piggyback on what you
you don't know how to deal with that. Like. What survival skill do you have? It's not in the book you read. You better figure it out.
Well, I mean,
I'm telling you the fact about relationships right now, though.
Just to piggyback on what you were saying, the example that you gave of a man, being insecure when he's not the provider. Now, what do we say when that man doesn't care about being a provider? Because we do have this, and this is just not in relationship. This can also be in marriages that do exist out there. You have a man that's not working, wakes up every day, just sits on the couch, and you have the woman that's going to work, paying all the bills, but then she's still with this man.
You want to know a fact, though?
What is the fact to that?
He's always going to find a woman.
He's always going to find a woman.
That's the sad.
What did I tell you before? I said no matter what level a man is at, he's always going to find somebody.
Because you have women too. Because
I don't know.
You can't have one without the other.
I mean, I think that's a really
the same girl that hasn't had a job. She still is gonna do the same. She's gonna do. Or
the dude ain't gotta look good.
But okay, fair play. Okay. But there's always somebody. I've seen it. I'm like, who are you with? And it's like, no, not just with, but you have children, and you go from pillar to post. You go here, you go there, and you're not stable, but you're okay because you don't. That's how you survive.
The man who always let me.
I'm talking about a female.
Go.
Oh, okay.
I think the man will always find a woman because you have women once again You have women that are so desperate to be with men that are extremely insecure about themselves that they don't even care what kind of substance this man holds or what his life is at. Yeah, it is that.
As a man, I'm gonna tell you, it's not that. It's the fact that you're a man.
It's the fact that you're a man and your manhood is all that you can provide to her.
It's nothing about her insecurity. It's nothing about her, her fear. It is the fact that you're a man.
Can I say something?
So because you're a man, yes, you can always find a woman.
Yes.
But do you think that a woman who has everything going for her and feels extremely confident about herself will be with you?
Here's what I said.
Can I say this?
Exactly.
Before y'all start.
I mean, she might score you and push you to the corner.
I really feel like we cannot be really candid about what we're talking about right now.
I mean, let's keep it open.
Can I be honest?
Get there, because I'm trying to get us there.
Look. Once again, I have to go back to this because it's really bothering me because we keep veering away from this. Why are women once again acting as if that a man's touch or a man's presence ain't gonna do something?
That's what I don't understand. Let me say something.
That's all I want to know.
Say something, and I would like to say something. And when you say something,
I'm done.
yes, okay.
Let me close that out.
I want to say something towards that.
This is the pain and this is the annoyance a lot of women deal with every day, but it's the facts of life, right? Now again, the way we were raised, your value has to be valuable.
Yeah.
It's not just your presence that brings you value. But what I've seen in life is no matter what tier a man is at in his life, he's always gonna meet a lady either above, below, or at the same tier.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. It ain't got nothing to do with looks, ain't got nothing to do with his money. It's the fact that he's a man.
Yeah.
I've seen, homeless men with homeless women.
Yeah.
But you will hardly
All
see
the time.
a homeless woman gets a man. But you always see every tier, the fact that you are a human man.
Yeah, it's
There's
different.
always a rib.
Yeah.
Always.
You said so probably.
I'm serious. No, but it's the truth though.
I mean, it is the truth, and it is a reality. I guess it's so sad though. It's extremely sad that let's forget about the homeless woman, because that homeless woman might just need companionship, might just need that, that
Let's
talk about the CEO or the woman that has the professional career. Everything is going good for you, but you are with a man that brings absolutely nothing to your life. Okay, to me, I believe now it's all about that man's manhood and what he's providing to you. Intimate. So I think that's what it is. Companionship and being desperate for it. I think that's what it is. I mean, why would you... I'm not saying that you should not be with a man who is not established, but a man that is not even trying, to me, it's a problem. I'm not saying that you can't be with a man who works at McDonald's or who has less of a job than you. There's a difference. But one who is not even trying, who's not making the effort, and who has, like, let's say, for example, several kids that he's not even taking care of, but you will still have a woman professionally established.
Can I just say something really quick?
Let's connect it back to this.
I think we're there. We're right there.
I want to say something real quick about insecurities and women and all, because there's just on a woman's defense. There are women that are at the prisons knocking on the door. Please release these boys so we can have some.
No. They're not even waiting for them to release them.
They're going inside, marrying them inside the prison. So.
Oh, that's a different conversation.
It's the same conversation because
it's the insecure and
it's not so much about insecurity.
It's desperation.
No,
it's just desperation.
I think
that's what you want to market.
When you're laying,
that's not what it is.
The thing about
it, would you? I mean, come on. Let's.
Ma, okay. Let me give you a perfect scenario, right? And I said this
especially for us as black men.
Hold up. What makes a man is nothing that's been advertised.
Nothing.
It is not money. It's nothing. It's not what he can bring you financially.
Because you've seen men that have money.
It is the fact that he has a spine, broad shoulders, and biologically is the protector.
Bomb.
Women want protection.
Bomb.
Men are the protectors. That's all it is. Yeah. So it's none of these layers. Now here's the thing. In society, again, it is responsible for a man to bring value, because a man without value is insecure. But I want to say something about the CEO lady that you just mentioned. This goes back to feminism and all this, stuff. The fact is, biologically, the man is still the provider. And it happens all the time. It was actually another episode we wanted to have. A lot of women, it was a misogynist society. the pendulum, feminism was supposed to make it even, right? Now it's like this.
Yeah.
And a lot of women who are here who fought for everything that men, because we forgot when men were bringing all the money, they were responsible for taking care of the family. And that is what they do biologically, right? Women wanted the same thing, right? So they now get here.
Just equal rights.
They wanted equal rights.
Or
not equal beings.
Right. I mean, true.
Yeah,
Right? So they wanted equal rights, not equal beings. But now they've got to this point of the pendulum where they realize this is the being of a man, right? Being able to provide.
Right.
Independent, which is fine, but now there's no man who's going to come here. No man, because of insecurity and natural biological wiring, there's no man who's going to, there's no reasonable man or responsible man who's going to submit to a lady's orders. It is just biologically factual. Now here's the thing. But in the case of women who are here, finding men who are below, who add nothing to their life,
that don't have jobs.
the fact is their being is what they add to their life. Because biologically, it shouldn't have been about the money. It was about his presence. Now, the chaos and the insecurity starts when now the value is money and you can't provide it. So I'm going to dictate. As a woman, I'm going to dictate what you do, and that's when the chaos begins. But most of the time, that's why they don't really leave that guy, because...
Can I add something too?
I mean, okay.
It's been the LD industry, like, come on.
Really?
I mean, okay, so I get the point that you're making, and that's extremely understandable. Now, so this is how the insecurity becomes deeper. This man that we're talking about comes into this woman's life, and this same man will start taking control and start telling her how to do things, what to do, what to wear, what not to do. Now, what do you say about that? That is extreme insecurity.
For me, I don't respect a guy like that. For
I
me.
mean, you can respect him or not.
It's not the guy's fault, though. It's not the guy's fault. It's the woman's fault.
In that case.
It's the woman's fault. And a lot of women are doing this.
It's what you accept. It's what you lack. Because most people who are at a CEO level, or if they're managing people, and I've seen this tons and tons of times. You manage at work, and when you come home, it's almost kind of fetishy.
You want to be managed
because you manage your family, you have employees, right? And then when you come home, he is telling you everything to do. So when you see, I've seen it. It's very actually. Let's say a guy isn't there, their children do it. The children tell you what to do. It's like, how is it that you run this company, but your kids are dictating to you what time you get movie, Devil Wears Prada. She was owning all this. She had people running, flocking to her. This is too cold. Gets home, rushes home because he, was dictating stuff to her.
Now let me add to that, and we kind of want to just bring it back and then conclude. It goes back to roles. It goes back to natural roles as they are, right? Again, in this society, I have to be financially stable to dictate anything, right? Because it just is what it is. I have to be educated, and I don't mind that at all, because it's the value you need in this society to survive, right? But the fact again is, from what I've seen, every woman I ask what they want from a guy is that thing, that control. And when a guy doesn't have control, factually, when he doesn't have control, when he doesn't have value, that's when he lacks control. That's when his insecurity starts. Another one that we haven't discussed, which we can maybe do it a little bit, is an age difference insecurity. When the woman is older and the guy's younger, and he still got that juice and she's clocking, or he's older and she's younger, she still got that juice, he ain't really got that juice. That's one version of insecurity. There's so many different levels. He's educated, she's not. She's educated, he's not. There's so many different tiers, but
so I think different things mean different things. Like,
exactly.
Like I was gonna say, like when women look at a short guy or a tall guy, naturally, it all goes back to what we're still saying. It doesn't change. It's the same thing. It's symbolic to whatever you consider to be a protector, or to be strong, or whatever, or there's somebody who's more muscular, even if it's not your style or it's not your taste. There's something that that kind of conveys. So I think that even biologically, on a physical level, even in the society that we live in today, people operate that way without even realizing it. That, I'm looking for this. that equals out to protector, provider, and then we as men, on the flip side, we've been talking a lot about women, but we as men, we look at women who have certain characteristics as somebody who's good to be a mother, to be a childbearer, and that's I mean, and just to correct, so I don't know who said it, but me, I'm only 29, but when I'm talking and meeting different women, it's more than just looks. Yes, I want somebody who's attractive. Yes, I want somebody who has all the attributes and attributes, but it's not just about that. I'm definitely looking for somebody who has, there's certain things. It may even be physical, but it's also a mental thing that I'm looking for. I'm just saying that a grown man is looking for more than just, I think, I mean, we got appetite.
Looks has ever been a foundation for anything that's lasted more than it's supposed to last.
It's true.
I don't think it's, no matter what age, it's never really ever been the foundation of anything that's ever lasted.
I think that it's important for it definitely to exist.
It's important for us to be honest about the fact of looks.
Looks, exactly.
Yeah, because you look at a person, you're like, oh well.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to conclude? Or you want to say something?
What was I gonna say? I mean,
you always look at stressed out.
No, I know what I was gonna say. I think sometimes the big, huge percentage, I believe that plays a role in insecurity is the physical aspect of beings. I think the physical aspect of it plays a huge role, especially from what we see on social media and all this other stuff. Now, from the fake butts to all this extra stuff that exists, I think
for women,
I agree.
For women, and even
more so now. It's like
guys,
really on the
forefront. You see the buffness and all that. I think the physical aspect plays. Yeah, look at what the extent that people go to change themselves. For them
if the fake ones is making y'all insecure, y'all gonna have to take an L on that.
That's exactly that.
They should take an L. Who did it?
No. If women are getting insecure about themselves based on fake women's bodies,
but see, they don't know their face.
Y'all should take that supreme L.
Well, this is what I would say. This is what I always say. If you're not happy with the way you look, and it's something you can fix, and nobody's saying go get plastic surgery on your face or your nose or anything. That's how God made you. You can't change your face. I don't believe in you restructuring your face. But if it has to do with anything pertaining to your body, as simple as weight that you can lose, because most of the time that's what plays a role in most women's life as to why they're so insecure. That's something you can fix. It's not easy to lose the weight, but don't let that be the reason why you subject yourself to foolishness. To me, it's no excuse, because you can easily fix it. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but you have to learn self-love. If you don't have self-love, I'm sorry, you're going to be walked all over from a bunch of men, and it's going to keep happening over and over.
Let's conclude. Before we conclude this, I just want to make sure y'all understand, from a man's point of view, in this day and age, there's actually more insecure men than women in relationships, because a lot of men cannot provide these days. So let's not get it twisted. A lot of men.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
in relationships, and when I'm talking about insecure, I'm talking about the core of what's supposed to be important. Because I just mentioned
what's supposed to be important. At the
core, providing, right? Providing and being able to sustain it. Your looks can go so far.
Okay.
So if a woman's insecure about her looks, that's fine and that's understood. Women have always had, they've always wanted to tear better, but at the end of the day, though, that's not what sustains a relationship long at all. But in this day and age,
women's a little bit more deep, though.
That'll break.
It's really.
Another thing too. I mean, I don't want to go too far off, but just from a racial point of view, just on a racial standard, even till now, black women still don't have something that says, "Okay, I'm beautiful like that."
Hey, let me just.
I'm just saying. From their perspective, it's always the Kim K. This one.
Let me just.
I said
in relationships.
Not
individually, right?
But remember,
in relationships.
I don't care if this woman is uglier. I don't want to use the term ugly, but if she's uglier than my neighborhood elephants, right? If her face is just ugly, go, right?
Jesus.
In a relationship, if she brings what's valuable to a relationship, trust me, bruh, it ain't the looks.
You're responsible man.
I promise you.
Think about most niggas out there.
Hold up. Let me say why I said this. Again.
So at the end of the day,
I said the core of what's important. We said something earlier. When you know what you got, right? Of course you know the obstacles outside. But when you know what you got, kind of explaining the people who went to the party and blah, blah, blah. A real dude who knows what he has, like if you're going to leave anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah,
if I'm cool with what I got, you're not really going nowhere at all, right? The same applies to a woman if she's focusing on what is important.
But a lot of
If she's focusing, because let me throw something out there. Insecurity can come from a guy not having the Congolese. Like if you ain't got the Congo,
he knows that.
Exactly.
He comes
So-
to knowing that.
right.
just because we're able to conceal it, if it's not,
But if she accepts that, you should.
But if it's enough for her, then you know what I'm saying? Right.
You guys don't do that.
Thank you.
Don't do that.
Thank you, bro.
Don't do that.
Every woman's preference is different when it comes to that area.
It's all good though, but
I like how we're
Politically correct?
yeah, it's
No, it's not being. It's not about being
every woman's
politically
preference
correct.
is different in that
Every
area.
woman's preference is different in that area, and some of us, it's like, okay, well that's all right for me.
But here's the thing.
If it works,
You
it
said
works.
every woman's,
Preference.
that's fine. She's not the man. So she don't know.
But if
His control is not if she accepts it or
They're
not.
never gonna understand.
You don't.
They're not gonna
Exactly.
understand
It's
that.
all
I mean,
good.
it's
It's all good.
They're not gonna understand.
You're not.
Well, you know what? They got a lot of ways.
I'm just
well,
being-
they're not women, so they don't know
They're not
what
women.
it is for us when you meet somebody.
When
and
you-
I have friends
You-
that it's we compare, amongst girls, but it's something that he gives her, and naturally she makes him feel better than any other woman. So it's not even about so that insecurity is not. It's not even on the forefront because
his insecurity does not come from her. Yeah. Is what I'm trying to explain.
So it'll be it's his all the time.
But it's his.
No matter if she's.
There's a reason
okay
why
with it.
certain guys got chained up and shipped out. We're gonna talk about that later. But nonetheless, right? Insecurity in relationships. If you know what you are, if you know what you have, and you're realistic about why you're in a relationship, who you're in a relationship with, there are different tiers, there are different levels of it. There are different reasons why. It's looks, education, it is height, short, fat, whatever. There are different things that come into play, but I mean, the cliche is communication is key, but also being realistic about, yourself individually and what you have to offer, and if the relationship is even real or not. I mean, it's so complex. I wish I could say more, but that's kind of what I could say right now.
This is what I'm gonna say. I truly believe self-love is so important. It plays a huge role in how you interact with any individual, whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. When you don't have that self-love for yourself, you will continue to subject yourself to what I call foolishness. And foolishness will continue to happen, and whoever you're with will see that and continue to take advantage of that. So I believe, whether you're a man or woman, having that self-love, respecting yourself, and knowing your value plays a huge role. When that is missing, then it's like your existence is useless. I'm sorry to say that, because you're just there to take crap from people. So have self-love for yourself, because if you don't have it, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Well, I'm gonna take that off Emma because I agree. I think insecurity only creeps in when you have a lack. So before you decide to join yourself with someone, if it's dating, relationship, situationship, whatever ship, I think that you should check yourself, check your own checklist, and fix it, or bring it into the situation and discuss it. Because I feel like if a person knows, I'm kind of jealous, which I actually don't disagree with a tad bit of jealousy, because so many people, men, don't chop my head off. When a woman doesn't act like she cares about who you may be talking to or who that woman is, it's almost like, she doesn't really care anyway.
Right.
So it's I would say just a twinge of insecurity or letting that person know, I really don't like that girl that keeps calling you, because then she actually is down for you. I think when it gets a little deeper, if it's every time kind of thing, then it becomes super insecurity. But I really think that you should, in a relationship, check yourself, and as the relationship maybe starts to shift and get a little weird, talk about it, because different people come into your life when you join with somebody, and I don't like the way your cousin talks to me, or because you can have that conversation, and it's not a silent killer. you know, because later, you know, they say don't have your whispers turn to screams. So I think if you have that conversation, then it doesn't make it insecure. It just kind of makes it a conversation piece within a relationship.
I think for me, just being really authentic with yourself. When you're having these feelings of insecurity, if you feeling insecure, I would, just like you were kind of saying, I would ask myself, why do I feel this way? Sometimes it's not that hard of a question to ask. I know why I feel insecure. It's very blatant, very obvious why I feel insecure. Sometimes you ask yourself, okay, I'm insecure right now. What is this? I think the universal question is why, and then being real with yourself about what that is and where that's coming from. And you can break down what the insecurities are and what you need to do or whatever needs to happen. And like I said before, if you're real with yourself and if you know who you are and you know what you want and know because I'm all about what's going to be better for me. So if this person is not adding to me to make me a better person, then we're both wasting our time. So that's my focus. So if I'm having insecurities, I need to ask myself, why am I having insecurities with this person? And then where is that coming from? I think that's the most important question, being honest. And then the truth is, because of the society that we live in and the way people are and the way we put all these certain types of standards that most people can't really measure up to all the time. You know, not everybody's superhuman. And when you have all these standards and you're trying to measure up, then these insecurities start popping up, and then you're trying to measure up. But if you're honest with yourself about what you are, who you are, these things aren't so big of a deal. Mm-hmm. So I believe at the end of the day, it's a level of honesty and being real with you. People aren't real with each other. People aren't real with themselves. That's a problem in the world, really. People are constantly lying to themselves and not being truly authentic to who they are. So if you know, hey, I'm an emo person, and that person is not. Why am I going to try to, and I think it's trying to fit into a society type of thing. No, who are you and what do you like? And I think that will kind of break down a lot of these things.
How's comments?
Love yourself. Yeah. Cheers.